I made it pretty far, all things considered. Thanks for your applause. Still every time I close the door and another won't open, I get this panic that my life is now on pause. The dark gets cleared, the board's been cleaned, there's nothing left on my screen. The plate is empty, so it seems. Now is the time to ask, okay, what's next? This was fun while it lasted, nothing comes till you ask it. So I'd really like to know what's next. Around the corner, down the street, whatever's meant for me to meet, I'm waiting for it anxiously. So tell me please, what's next? Silently it's haunting me and I'd like it to go. See, I could be 103 and still moving slow, full of promise and potential till my eyes finally close. But I got time, got years and years, work to do, but I got fears. And there's a ringing in my ears, so still I gotta ask, okay, what's next? This was fun while it lasted, nothing comes till you ask it. So I'd really like to know what's next. Around the corner, down the street, whatever's meant for me to meet, I'm waiting for it anxiously. So tell me please, what's next?
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. I'm your host, Marc, Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, here in my beautiful Healing Transformative Studio here in West Seattle, Seattle, Washington. Good morning. Thanks for hanging out here on our last Metaphysical Mocha Mondays of the year. I take the month of December off, so today is the 29th. And I take this time coming up as what I like to call spiritual hibernation, if you will. So starting in a few days, we're going to be taking the month off. This is the month that I don't do any readings. I do have a couple podcasts still left on the schedule where we're going to be talking about 2022 from an astrology standpoint and from a numerology standpoint. So I'm looking forward to those upcoming podcasts. That'll be on December 8th, and then I'll be on the air December 28th, I believe, for an interview talking about what I see coming for 2022, and from an astrology standpoint and from a numerology standpoint. So in celebration of our last Metaphysical Mocha Monday of 2021, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your protein shake. This morning I'm doing a eggnog latte, which is 'tis the season, right? And today we're going to be talking about a pretty important message, actually. It's when I got up to meditate this morning, I kicked Grogu off the mat here. Grogu takes over while I'm not on there, and then I sit on the mat and I kind of sit in the power and I kind of quiet my mind and just, think about what it is that I want to talk about. And today is about just being you. This last year has been quite a struggle for many of us, whether it's from this pandemic, whether it's the politics, the sycophancy, the ignorance, the divide. We've seen it globally. I've talked to people in different countries that are experiencing the same psychological effects, this burnout, the uncertainty, global warming. Just giving a quick shout out to my friends up in Canada. I've got my Whistler mug this morning to just acknowledge my Canadian friends that are being impacted by horrific, historical flooding. Something that they've never seen to this level before, which has a ripple effect, because when you have flooding, it not only takes out infrastructure, it takes out farmlands, which impacts, milk and chickens. And, there's a ripple effect that takes place with global warming. And we've seen everything from the fires in California to the decimation in Australia to the Amazon jungle to here in the United States. And, unfortunately, Mother Nature is not going to just stop. And that's what, today's message is about, is just about being you, doing your best, waking up today. When I woke up this morning, I thanked my God, my Lord. It can be different for everybody. And I just said, thanks for giving me another shot for today, because that's all you have. It's like that, that I'm not going to miss my shot from that song, Alexander Hamilton, in the play Hamilton. And, the ability to open your eyes to, even if life can be draining, life can be tiring, life can be uncertain, life can be transformative, it's still showing up to give it your best, to be a better version than you were yesterday. That's what I try to do. And so today, I start with my grateful eight things that I can be thankful for. And it can be anything from an elbow to allow you to move your arm, eyes to see, tongue to taste, teeth to chew, roof over your head, clean drinking water. Because today there are people that didn't open their eyes. It was their last day on earth, and today people transferred over. I've done former podcasts where we've talked about, on average around the planet with our population. When I started Inspired Living Radio 6 years ago, it was 7.3 billion people at the time that we did the population research, and now that's getting closer. It's going to be closer to 8 billion when it's all said and done. And we did a podcast where we talked about 50,000 people a day transition over from life into death. What we like to say is passing over or transition over, because death doesn't, in my experience and in my studies and my education, death is not the end. So I can't subscribe to an atheist viewpoint, because I've had just too many experiences, agnostic experiences that have proven to me, readings that I do throughout the year. And to me, that just shows me that there is another adventure that's going to appear for all of us. So let me get to the link that I wanted to share with you guys today, because today is my last public event. Going to be doing a live mediumship event. I'll put the link in the comment section here on Facebook. And that's going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's going to be a demonstration of mediumship with my good friend and colleague over in Norway. It'll be evening for her, still morning for me. We've done a couple of these throughout the year and have had a really good time. And it's going to be 90 minutes of just reunions and stories and celebrations. And I'm really looking forward to that. So let me get to the Facebook page here. But today's message, while I'm doing that, doing two things at once, I want to say good morning to my team. And I really want to thank my team that volunteer each and every week to be here with me on Monday mornings. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all the hard work this last year, whether in group, whether coming on to the Compassion Cafe, which we'll have our last Compassion Cafe at 8:30 after this show is over, pushing yourselves to find that diamond within. And, just doing the show and helping me to manage, when we get our trolls and we get our bots in the rooms and helping, with that. So if you're on this morning, Gabriel, Reg, Rosie, Colleen, thank you, all four of you, for your dedication when you could, and when you couldn't. I appreciate it. And again, it just, many hands make easy work. So thank you for being a part of Metaphysical Mocha Mondays in 2021. And now you can have a break. You can have the month off, and then we'll be back Like I said, I have one podcast left that I'm doing for Inspired Living Radio. That'll be December 8th with my friend and colleague, Kathy Buell. We're going to be talking. She's a well-known astrologist, does a lot of astrology writing. We're going to be looking and forecasting and predicting for 2022 based on astrology with a little bit of numerology. And then I'll be on her show on Om Times Radio later at the end of the month on the 28th or 29th. I'll find that out for sure, where I'll be the subject matter expert talking about numerology and forecasting, predicting like I've done every year. And then I'll start the year off with the prediction show for 2022 as well. And everything I've talked about are roaring 20s, everything from, full disclosure to intelligent life, to civil war, to politics, things that I see, natural events. And are they always correct? No, I don't know if anybody should ever be 100% accurate. I think I'd be a little bit scared if I was, but it's more of a roadmap. It's more of a glimpse to kind of prepare for what the year is going to be. 2022 is going to be a very interesting year because it can go a couple different ways. Because it's 2022, so it's going to be the year of the 6, right? Which is based on the energy of, we're in the year of the 5 right now, which is freedom, love, and adventure. And it's just gone by so quick, which I guess that's a good thing. I think when time slows and you're really paying attention to society and it goes really slow, that's tough. But as far as this year going by, like we're almost done with 2021 and I'm still trying to get over 2020, to be honest with you. And 2022 is going to be a year of compassion. It's called the Compassionate Humanitarian. And it's going to be interesting to see what is unfolded, what is observed, and what is discovered for society based on a compassionate humanitarian standpoint. There'll still be chaos and murder and politics and sycophancy in this COVID virus, which is, again, variant. It's going to continue to vary until either everybody gets, vaccinated or there's a cure, because that's what happens with pandemics if you don't control them, like polio or smallpox, etc. But what's going to be interesting is I also have forecasted, when I did my prediction show in 2019, I saw the words of sustainability, homeostasis, self-mastery, the great coming together. And I knew from my predictions that in order to come together, you usually have to fall apart first. There has to be a trigger, or there has to be a catalyst or an event that divides people and then brings people together, regardless of your political, religious backgrounds. And I still see that for our 2020, our roaring 20s, and seeing that specifically for 2022. Not to say that there still won't be some sort of national divorce here with the United States or some sort of civil war. I could still definitely see that happening. But today's message was really just talking about being you and let the world adapt. A lot of times we want to adapt to the world and we lose our authentic selves, our higher selves, when we try to change. There's a comment section. I was trying to put the link in for today's event. So the Eventbrite ticket is down below, and I'll put this in the Compassion Cafe as well. It should be there. Yes, it is. And that'll be at 11. If you've attended any of the shows, if you've attended the Q&A with us, it's $15. If not, it's $20. So it'll be my last public event for 2021, and then I'll start up fresh in January 2022. But today's message on Mocha Monday, the last Mocha Monday of the year, really, before my spiritual hibernation, is to be yourself, to find that diamond within. I always talk about throughout the year, if you followed my work or you're in my group or I've mentored with you or you've read some of my articles, I always talk about finding that diamond within, because diamonds are created under extreme pressures. And if there's no pressure, there's no diamond. And all of us this year have really felt the pressures of life, the uncertainties of life. Unfortunately, this is something that I was introduced to over 20 years ago when I lost my brothers to murder and to brain cancer all within the same week. And that kind of changed me and opened me up to be a life coach, a spiritual coach, an intuitive coach, a mindfulness coach, a medium, a psychic, if you will. And that's taking those pressures and those traumas and tragedies, or the TNT that blew my life up and changed my trajectory of where I thought I was going with life. That's finding my higher self, my authentic self, and letting the world adapt to me, not me adapting to the world. A lot of times I see people, especially in my professional work, not within I see it in my day job too. I see the backstabbing and the backbiting all the time. But even in this industry, as a professional psychic, as a professional medium, I've seen a lot of competitiveness, a lot of backbiting, a lot of backstabbing, just to try to get to the top, to be the most famous, or to make a lot of money, or to publish a book, or self-promote. I've seen all of it. I have, in the last decade of doing this work. It's not something that I want to be a part of, or that I'm ever drawn to. You got to put yourself out there, of course, for promotion, but at the same time, I love doing this work to help people, to be in service to the spirit world, to help with healing and transformations, and see people discover their authentic self. When I took my Myers-Briggs a couple years ago, it's an actual profile of myself, and I took it once and didn't answer it honestly, and I got a different data point, obviously. And then when I took it again, through my federal day job, actually paid for it. And so I took the Myers-Briggs profile, and it actually, when I answered it openly and honestly, it said, Mark, you're supposed to be an inspirer. That's literally the inspirer. That's what I was born to do. That's what I'm here. That's my purpose. Now, is it hard to be an inspirer and promote positivity in a world that's negative and filled with vanity and greed and corruption and backbiting? It's not, but you got to stay the course. You got to, if this was easy, everybody would do it. And so when I started to transition to become this inspire, based on taking a profile to understand and to know thyself, this is where the shows were created. This is where Inspired Living Radio was birthed. This is where Metaphysical Mocha Mondays was created out of nothing. This is where, a lot of the things that I talk about and I write about are creative, not only of my past experience, but the soul adventures I have, and to inspire other people. And sometimes, inspiration can be taken subjectively and perspectively based on what I'm saying to be an inspirer. In today's society, people can take that as, oh, you're fear mongering, or you're promoting something. Everybody has an opinion in today's social media world. I mean, some people still think the world is flat. So that should tell you kind of where we're at with, intelligence. I posted on my Intuitive Prospector page about the new James Webb telescope that's going to be launched here in just a few weeks in December 22nd, I think is when it's going up. And NASA's saying that they could actually, within 20 hours of that satellite going online and active, it's going to be about 1 million miles out from the Earth. So it won't be in low orbit, because it's going to be able to see parts of the universe in ways we've never seen before. And they're saying they could possibly find life, intelligence on another planet within 20 hours. And somebody said, maybe we should look for intelligent. Somebody posted, maybe we should look for intelligent life down here on Earth first. And I said, that's a really good point. I think we've been looking for a long time, but we've always been explorers. We've always been prospectors. We've always looked up. And I think that in our roaring 20s, a lot of answers are going to start to unfold and reveal themselves to us as a society, as a species. Because I remind people too, that my religion is love. My race is human. My planet is Earth. I don't get caught up in the dogmas and the ideologies down here at the state or government levels of who we are, because we're all human and we all have a different. Nobody is the same. Everybody has their unique moniker, their DNA code, and when you realize, I mean, we all have a social security number if you're in the United States. I can't speak to other countries because I don't know how those work, but we are unique and we are here for a reason and a season. And the purpose is to find yourself. And it's through those negative experiences, it's through those positive experiences, through the loss, through love, through heartbreak, that you really discover that diamond within, because it's all those pressures that have been working on your heart. Your diamond is your heart. And when you reveal that and you finally truly understand who you are, your authentic self, you're not going to bend to the ways of the world. You will lose relationships. I always say, once manipulation stops, rejection begins, because a lot of people are manipulated, whether through narcissism, through gaslighting, through cognitive dissonance. That is the world that we live in. But once you are aware of that, when you become, I always say that the psychic is kind of like a BS meter. When people are, just spouting BS, us psychics or sensitives or empaths or intuitives know when somebody is pretty much BSing us. And when that manipulation stops, when people can't manipulate somebody else, then it's usually rejection begins. It's kind of like, apologizing, and an apology without changed behavior is a form of manipulation, if you think about it. So, the last couple of years, especially the last 2 years, I've had to really clean up a lot of my relationships on social media, friends who I thought were friends, colleagues who I thought were colleagues, and family who I thought was family. And that is, it sucks, it hurts, it's sad, it really is painful. But I've also come through that storm of redemption and forgiveness and forgiving people, because forgiveness, when you have forgiveness in your heart and you lead by grace and serenity and the equanimity that my latest article, it's out, you can go to marclainhart.com and click on that. The equanimity and serenity and grace you lead by, the forgiveness releases the power they hold over you. If you stay with that anger or that pain, it's holding on to you and you're suffering your past. And by releasing that through forgiveness, through, maybe not having that relationship anymore, that releases you for freedom, for transformations, for healing. And that's part of the diamond. And that's painful, but not everybody does that. Not everybody takes that leap. Not everybody makes that choice. They stay in a dysfunctional pattern. They stay in a dysfunctional way. When you recognize patterns, when you see patterns and you identify them, you really have that free will and choice of becoming the authentic you, just be you, or conforming to the way the world wants you to be, not the way you want to be. And I found through many soul adventures, through many trials and errors, through many humbling experiences, that when you stay the course of who you are, the world will adapt around you. And I'm not saying that from an ego standpoint. I'm not saying that from a vanity standpoint. If you have a vision, if you have a calling, if you're an inspirer, if you're a teacher, stay with your vision, because there will always be critics. There'll be pundits. There'll be opinionated. There'll be competitors. We watched that show, King Richard, last night with the dad of Venus and Serena Williams. Very powerful story. Was he a a-hole? Yeah, he was, but he was a dedicated a-hole to seeing his daughters become some of the greatest tennis players to ever live and to play the sport. And what he went through to protect them, to make sure they had a good upbringing and didn't go too soon to be a professional, and with all the paparazzi that comes. It was actually a really inspiring, great movie. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen King Richard. I didn't know the backstory. I didn't know they came from Compton. I didn't know, their chances of getting into the circuit were very limited compared to other people in society. And so I like those types of stories because that inspires me. That shows me, even with great diversity, that diversity and that pain creates the diamond, which is part of who you are. So today's message is be who you are, guys. Be who you are, and the world will adapt to that. Don't conform, don't bend to make somebody else happy. It's your life, it's your journey. That's not your purpose, is to live based on somebody else's ideologies or somebody's idea of you. And over time, if you step into your authentic self, you will lose friendships, you will lose family members, but you will also gain that authenticity of who you are, why you're here, and like-minded people that are on the same path that will see you for who you are and become part of your tribe. Just because, I can't remember what I posted the other day, but I posted, well, maybe I still have it. It talked about blood, blood being thicker than water, and I've heard that a couple times, and I have found that not to be true. Let's see here. I don't know if I still have it. I did post, it's poor spiritual hygiene to give everyone access to you, especially through social media. That's something I've cleaned up in the last year. I don't know if I still have it. I don't think I do. But it was pretty much talking about, not everybody who's family or blood. I actually have people that are not a blood relationship that are like family to me, friends that I've been friends with for a long time, over 35 years, and they're like family, even though they're not by blood. And, it's kind of the same thing. Some of the nicest people that I've ever met, some of the kindest, most compassionate human people I've met are people that society would reject based on how they look. Maybe they're all tatted up. Maybe they have a nose ring, or they have a lot of piercings. To me, that's authentic. Now, would I do that? No, that's just my own personal choice of not to do that. Would I get tatted up? Maybe. I've thought about a few more tattoos. But image, my grandma used to say, the cover is not the book. Don't judge. My mentors taught me that as well. Don't judge based on the cover of the book, because that person, everybody's a book, and everybody has, memories and experiences. And, that cover can be, covered in tattoos and piercings. And within that chapters of the book is some of the most authentic, compassionate human people you've ever met. So today's message is be you. Find who you are this year as we move into 2022. Be you and let the world adapt around you. Don't adapt to the world, because the world is always changing. We know how chaotic it is, how fake it is, how the vanity is, especially through social media. The world is always changing. That's the only thing consistent in life is change. So go on this journey for the rest of this year into 2022 to find who you are and what you want. What is your purpose? What is your passion? And make a plan. Like in the movie King Richard, he had a plan for the girls before the Venus and Serena, before they were even born. He had a plan and he stuck to it, even though the pundits and the critics and the experts and the money that they were throwing at them to try to deter him from his plan. But he stayed the course. And he had a lot of trials and tribulations along the way, 3 marriages, a lot of kids. But at the end, he stuck as a dad to them to make them some of the greatest tennis players of all time. That to me, like I said, is inspiring. So we'll get ready here for the compassion, the last Compassion Cafe of the year. I want to say thank you this year for hanging out with me, following the work, following the show. If you haven't liked the show yet, please like it, subscribe to it, share it out, contribute to it, and join the 36,000 followers of the page, which is still very humbling to me to see that many people following the work. You can also follow me over on Instagram. You can follow the show Inspired Living Radio on Twitter and Instagram at Inspired for Us. That's the number 4. I'm over on TikTok, getting closer to 1,000 followers. Once I get to 1,000 followers, TikTok will unlock that security clearance or that security door for allowing me to do live shows over on TikTok. I really am enjoying TikTok. You can do a lot more music. There seems to be a lot more freedom there. There's some weird stuff over there, but I'm really enjoying it. I do a lot of different stuff over on TikTok. So make sure to follow me on TikTok or Instagram. Get on my YouTube channel. I will maybe in the month of December while I'm off, I may do some spiritual takeout meditations or sitting in the power or some Qigong exercise, and that'll be through my YouTube channel. That's through Marc Lainhart, or just look for Soul Adventures. Get on my newsletter if you haven't got on my newsletter yet. That all that information, latest article, latest shows, past podcasts are all at marclainhart.com, or just internet search the Intuitive Prospector. If you had a reading with me this year, if you received a message, which we're going to get ready for the Compassion Cafe here in a couple minutes, please leave a review on. I'll post a couple of my professional directories. Leave feedback, leave a testimonial, leave a story, because I believe in the power of storytelling. And sometimes, if I worked with you this year, I don't always get to hear what unfolded for you, or what came into fruition, or what was revealed by the things that are unseen in the spirit world, or signs, symbols, synergy, and synchronistic events. I'll do that in the Compassion Cafe as well. But if you're not one of my top fans or a star sender, and you just want to leave a testimonial, whether on Google, leave a 5-star review on Google, I would appreciate that, or Best American Psychics or Best Psychic Directory. Those are the 3 that you can submit a review based on my work and my performance. And I always welcome feedback for anything that I do, to always try to be the better version of myself. And again, not coming from a vanity standpoint, not coming from an ego standpoint, but just to share with other people of working with somebody, so I can help you as an intuitive coach, a mindful coach, to find that diamond within, to help you be you, and let the world mold around you and who you truly are. I've helped a lot of people this year. I've mentored a couple people this year to help them find that diamond within. And I'll have some classes coming up in 2022, some workshops. So stay tuned at marclainhart.com. Or you can catch my podcast December 8th, which will be my last podcast for Inspired Living Radio, forecasting for 2022 from an astrology standpoint and a numerology standpoint. And then I have one interview left at the end of the month for a show that I'm doing. And then I'm writing papers. I'm writing my book. I'm going to be spending a lot of time writing, less time social media in 2022, more time writing and getting accredited for what I'm trying to do. Working on my, continue to work and building on my minister and reverend certifications that I have now. Going to start a mentorship with one of my mentors, which I'm looking forward to as a professional mentoring. So I'm looking forward to that and starting in January. But again, Thank you to everybody that has been a part of Metaphysical Mocha Mondays over the last year, over the last 4 years. This is the last show, December Spiritual Hibernation. I won't be doing any readings, no shows. So again, for my team, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to leave you with a card and a crystal to help you on your journey before we open up the Compassion Cafe. And the first card is, I allow myself to feel good. I allow myself to feel good. And for this month, this is what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to just allow myself to feel good, because the world can get us down. I'm pretty burned out by this time of the year with all the readings and shows and events and interviews that I've done throughout the year. And I'm just going to allow myself to feel good. And I do that by taking the time to disconnect so I can make the time to reconnect and have reflection, rejuvenation, recuperation, just really just take that time to fully disconnect. And then the card I have for you today is Danbarite. And Danbarite, what it is, it's about turning on your electric light. I have some right here, I believe. Danbarite. And what is Danbarite? What it is, it's like a beta blocker, if you will, in grandma's medicine cabinet. It's twinkling, its energy takes the edge off with a serious feel-good vibe. Anybody that's been burned out, anybody that's been, working hard, I have this next to me, Danbarite, to help energize, to kind of bring that energy back up of what I do. And I use it because it's great stone as a prospector, looking for stones and crystals and quartz and anything that may benefit the journey. Danbarite is awesome because the daily grind has literally ground us into the pavement. I'm literally at ground down to nothing by this time of the year. So that's why I take the month of December off. But that's your stone for until we meet again in 2022. Danbarite, and allow yourself to feel good as we move into 2022. So those are the two cards for you today. Again, thank you to my team. Thank you to the followers of the page. Thank you to the supporters of my work and of this page, and allow me to try to help you, inspire you. And of course, good old cup of coffee and tea every Monday morning to set that tone for encouragement, motivation, inspirations, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. So we'll close here. I just want to say again, thank you so much for the journey. I will put some links into the comment section if you want to leave I can't leave my own reviews, so that's why I'm asking if anybody feels compelled or called to leave a review on my professional directories, please do so. That's for integrity purposes and security reasons, because I know a lot of people have websites where they put their own reviews on. I don't operate that way. So I would appreciate it. And again, thank you so much to my team. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And we'll get ready now for the final Compassion Cafe of the year. No guests, just me. So get your questions ready. I'll be doing live readings, Zoom room. And then at 11 a.m., there's a link down below for Eventbrite tickets if you want to witness a little bit of mediumship and maybe get a message from your loved one. You never know what you're going to get in these public events. It's like a spiritual box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And that'll be at 11. That'll be starting at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So wherever you're at in the world, Remitris is over in Norway, so it's like 7:30 her time. No, 8:30 her time. So it's evening over there, and we'll go for about 90 minutes, take questions, do live readings, have a lot of fun. Tickets are $15 to $20, depending on if you got the discount code or not. Last public event of the year, and then I'll be on the air December 8th for the last show of Inspired Living Radio, which you can now catch on every major podcasting platform, from Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. List goes on and on. So we'll be forecasting for 2022 from an astrology and numerology standpoint. And with that, I will sign off for the rest of the last show of this year, just letting you know, until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate in our world, as our world is awakening and transforming and trying to heal. And most importantly, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover that diamond within. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you in 2022 for another season of Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. And have a great rest of your day, week. Happy holidays, and stay safe, healthy, and namaste. Cheers.
One planet, 7.3 billion people. only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.